What up, YouTube? Timus here. Since this month, I'm doing my reviews for past April films. Here's my review for the 2004 action superhero film, The Punisher. Now, The Punisher is, of course, based on the on Marvel's hit comics and all. We've had other Punisher incarnations, like years ago there was the one with Dolph Lundgren. Obviously, Ray Stevenson portrayed the role in Punisher Warzone, which I actually prefer over this one, to be honest. Yeah, and most notably, Netflix did had the Punisher series with John Bernthal, which I still so disappointed they got rid of that. But anyway, now this one premiered back. Now this Punisher movie premiered back all the way on April 16th, 2004, directed by Jonathan Hasley, and starred the likes of Thomas Jane. You also had John Travolta as the villain. Here you've got FBI agent Frank Castle, played by Thomas Jane, who transformed into this vengeful Punisher after criminals, end up murdering his family, including his wife and son. So he is gravely injured in the attack and believed to be dead by Howard Saint, played by John Travolta, who is this crime lord who ordered the hit here. And so Castle, becomes a heavily armed vigilante and will stop at nothing to exact his revenge on Saint and destroy his criminal underworld here. Anyway, The Punisher did not really get the best reviews. It actually has like a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is actually pretty more well with critics and with audience and critics. Like it has a 63% on with audience score. I thought like Thomas Jane. I guess say this was like the movie that really put Thomas Jane on the map. Like he's done stuff beforehand, like he was in Deep Blue Sea and all that, but he's never really had had that big role yet. And this really capitalized him as a really full time action star. Thomas Jane was awesome as a Punisher. I know he played the role perfectly. John Travolta is great at playing a villain like this, and I thought John Travolta was terrific as his part. You also had some other interesting cast members too, like some other casts here. You had Will Patton, Rebecca Romaine, Ben Foster. You had Samantha Mathis, Laura Herring, who actually plays the role of John Travolta's wife, and she was really good in this. You even had Roy Shire, who of course who actually portrayed Frank's father. He was really cool here. The action was really decent. It was definitely fun. Very like probably Warzone is a tad bit more violent, but this movie still has some really cool violence in it. You know, like I always do like these vigilante films where someone's like when someone's family gets murdered and the guy goes on a rampage and to track the bad guys down and take them out and all. And they did a really cool job with this one. Uh, Frank Castle is definitely one of the coolest, iconic, Marvel villains Marvel heroes there is. I mean, there's been loads of actors who portray the role of Frank Castle before, like obviously Dolph Lundgren, Ray Stevenson, John Bernthal, and now and of course Thomas Jane. I probably do prefer John Berthold's Punisher role, but Thomas Jane is probably my second favorite. I think Thomas Jane plays this role perfect. The actions are really cool. Definitely a really solid comic book based film. I mean, this movie, of course, got released around the time where comic movies were still trying to find their foot in the doorstep. I mean, 2004 had some really good comic book movies. There was, of course, Punisher, Spider-Man 2. But Punisher is definitely, of course, there was Catwoman and all. But Punisher is probably my second favorite comic book movie to get released that year. It's definitely a really cool one to watch. It has some really cool entertaining moments. Cool, bloodshed. John Travolta as a villain was perfect. I mean, if you guys have not really seen this, you can find it on Hulu. You can find it on where else can you find it? Yeah, you can find it on Fandango now, Prime Video, Vudu, Apple TV. Go watch it and go enjoy it. Anyway, let me lead you guys. Have you ever seen the 2004 Punisher movie? If so, what's up? Were you a fan of it? Were you not a fan of it? What are some of your favorite Punisher incarnations? Were you ever a fan of the Punisher comic book? And would you be down to check out a new Punisher adaptation in the near future? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is Human Sign.